Okay, so today I want to talk about the golden lever maintenance. So if you already got a golden lever, and every tools is need maintenance. So it is good for you to know how to maintain your tools so you can keep the performance and working without issue. Okay, so I will show you how to do a maintenance. Hey, hello, Brit. Yes, you too. Keep safe, buddy. Okay, so this is the default golden lever. The last batch, I use a BlackBerry. BlackBerry is made from POM, polyoxylmethylene. It's basically a plastic, so plastic versus metal is okay. So the most important thing is when metal versus metal, it needs lubrication. Whoa, it's already good morning, that one. It's already late in Indonesia. Metal. Okay, so basically metal versus metal, because in moving parts, both metal are strong. They will make friction each other. So we need the lubrication to minimize the friction. In the first golden project, we are obsessed to make all metal parts in levers. And over time, we are learned that it's not a good idea, because metal versus metal needs lubrication, and many people do not lubricate these levers. Also, back then, golden lever user usually experienced lever user, so they know how to maintain their lever. And right now, golden lever is many users using it, and most of them are still just starting on Korean lever and doesn't know how to do maintenance for the lever. So I make some adjustment over last 3 years to make it is easier for starters to Korean lever. So the last build, I think there is no need maintenance for this last build, because there is no metal versus metal contact anymore. All is plastic versus metal contact. But if you have a last batch or you prefer metal, it is okay. I will teach you how to doing maintenance, because plastic is weaker than metal, and when we use plastic, it will damage because of the friction. So last year, like when Tokyo Master, I'm going to Ticting Tuesday and meet Rangchu, and I do a maintenance for Rangchu lever. Rangchu doesn't do maintenance on his stick, and he use a Delrin. This one, Delrin actuator, and I see this area is chipping away because this area is make friction with the lever blade, especially at the edge. Some switches have a sharp edge, so it's chipping the actuator, and plastic will lose. Plastic versus metal, plastic will lose. Okay, it's chipping like this. When you do input, every time it's chipping. Okay, first thing, if you want to do maintenance, open the clip. As you can see, this is a black bearing. This is a plastic sleeve on the bearing. And we use the plastic bushing. Okay, sometimes, many times, like a Sanwa GLF, you will see a dust inside it. So it need to be clean, or you can open it, but if you don't want to open, it's easy. You just can wipe using a tissue. Okay, already clean. Because it is white, it's easily to look dirty. Okay, and you also maybe want to clean the shaft. And the other side, you can also clean it. Be careful not to bend the switch. Just wipe gently. Also, you might want to clean this area of the switch. Use a Q-tip and clean off with a little propylene alcohol. Alcohol is okay, but don't make a contact too long. But if just wipe it, it's okay for plastic. Now all the base is clean. So in case you want to use a plastic actuator, the white one, this white actuator, because it's plastic, it doesn't need a lubrication. Yes, every tool that I recently maintained my chrome. Yes. Maintenance will make a lever is much smoother, like all tools. If you plastic, it's no need maintenance, and this bearing plastic, no need maintenance. Now, if you use metal, so back then, even we use metal for the core, but this is not good idea because it makes friction around the, sorry about the focus. When it's spinning, it makes friction and it a constant lubrication, and no good. So we don't use a metal core anymore. If you have it and you want still use it, put a small lubricant over here, just tiny amount over here, and you can rotate it to make it even. just like that. But it will dirty over time because it will attract dust. Next, if you use a golden actuator, it also needs lubrication. Hey, hello, Nes. Nice to meet you, Nes. So, like I had told before, because how the Korean lever works, when you actuate, it will hit the edge of the switch, and sometimes the edge of the switch is sharp. It will chipping away the actuator. So if it chips, you can see a stardust, a golden dust in your matchstick. And the bottom panel, you can see a golden dust because the switch, this is from stainless steel and like a silver, and sometimes in Omron dataset it said it's made from silver. So brass versus stainless steel, brass is loose, so it's chipping the brass, the stainless chipping the brass. And usually you will heard a squeaking noise, funny noise like kick 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 kick. It's mean that it needs a lubrication. If you want to put a lubrication, put a small amount in this area, the area that hitting the switch plate. Okay, so this is a UC grease. Actually this one, I use this one. I put a small container so it's easy to carry. Just put a small amount, web it. And this is a mineral base, so it's only safe for metals. Don't put it on plastic. Hey Chuk, welcome. Okay, the lubrication and the actuator will help the microseeds to gently slide, not chipping. But you have to do a maintenance periodically, maybe about once at least a month. Entangle. Okay, I don't know what the meaning is of entangle. But some users usually doesn't like lubrication because lubrication sometimes is dirty. Because lubricate grease like this attract dust. Just like a Sanwa GLF in pivot area, it can dirty like that. Okay, for golden bearing, you also need a grease or lubrication on the outside diameter area because it's just like a golden actuator. The switch also chipping the actuator, the switch plate, especially the edge. If it's sharp, it will chipping the actuator. So the new bushing, so I make adjustment, and the new bushing end ring, I make it shorter. So the contact point is not at the edge of the blade anymore. The contact point will be on the middle of the switch plate. So it will help less chipping because the switch edge is not contacting the actuator anymore using the new bushing end ring. Also, it helped to eliminate sometimes because the old model, the taller bushing, sometimes the bearing is jammed because there is not enough clearance between the bearing and the eclipse. Okay, so metal versus metal always need lubrication. And for the core, I don't think it needs a lubrication because it's already plastic, and metal versus plastic is okay. Also for silver shaft, it's okay. No need lubrication for the core. So basically, if you start hearing a weird noise from the lever, it tells that there is a friction and you need to do a lubrication to maintain the performance. So at least if you use a metal, if there is a metal, okay, I have a lot of grease. I will talk about the lubricant after this. So sometimes if you like a heavy actuator and use brass, that's okay. Golden bushing. Let's say. We use a golden bearing. So it will be a metal versus metal contact. If you are in the middle in competition or you don't have tools to open, you can use a simple spray like this. It is very common and easy to get, but because this is like a spray, it will evaporate more quickly, and usually it's just lasts about a week at most. Another week you have to put more spray. And be careful, don't spray inside this because it will penetrate to the silicone grommet and can damage the grommet. So the ideal is you remove the actuator and spray outside the lever. But if you really rush and in the middle of competition have no time, just put a small amount. Okay, like that you can see it penetrate to the bearings. And spray a little bit outside. Okay, and this should can last about a couple days, but usually in a week it will dry up and you need another lubrication. Grease is better because it's thick, but the downside is it will also attract dust and make it dirty. The spray like this, it's better. But if you can find the Specialist VD40, it is made from PTFE. It is relatively safe for plastic, so it's okay to spray everywhere and even go inside to the. But be careful, don't intentionally spray inside, just around the actuator. The ideal way is open, because when opening this, you can also do cleaning and then lubrication. So first is always cleaning. Okay. This is the ideal way to cleaning and put lubrication. This time we will use a WD-40 Specialist. You can see that it spin, but it's not spin like crazy. When you apply, pretty much you can see it will be spin like a crazy, like a spinner. You can hear it. Yeah, I think this is very good. It will remove, when you spray, it will remove the dust and it will penetrate inside the bearing to the tiny roller. It will spin like crazy. Super smooth. It reminds me like when we child with doing skate, we always maintenance our bearing. You can also spray a small amount in the inside diameter. Because it's safe for plastic, you don't have to wait until it's dry. Okay, it will very smooth. So basically, for golden lever, you need to, the area that needed to for maintenance is the actuation area, which is the actuator and the switch blade. I think for the core and shaft there is no need for lubrication or maintenance, only the actuator area, because actuator is very important because it is the input that we need to make to the game system. It's very smooth already. Okay, so you can do quick using a spray like every weeks, or you wanna use grease. Usually this will last longer, like a month. So I also try this white lithium. This is no good because it's too many foams. It's dirty. I will show you. Whoa. It's dirty. I don't like it. But it is for bearing, so I think it's good. It's okay, but I don't like because it make a wet foams. Usually in my workshop, I always have this. For anything metal, we use this in workshop, and anything plastic, we use this one. In like a pneumatic system, we use a Molykote because this is a silicone base, and this is usually for O-ring grease, like a sealing in the pneumatic tube, something. So I always have this in my workshop for metal, for plastic, as simple as that. So this is my favorite now because you can see it makes the roller very smooth, and it's safe for. It say that it's safe for plastic, but I have using this about 2 years, and I don't think any damage. I don't see any damage on the plastic, so I think it's good for me. Okay. So I also wondering, what if we put a lubrication to the plastic? Because as we know, the blade of the switch, the edge, will chipping away the plastic. You can see it in your lever. If you're using this, it should make some scratch. It will leave a mark because chipping. So I wonder if we use a lubricant, it will help to prolong the lifetime of the actuator. So yesterday, for the silicone rubber, would there be any? I don't think a silicone rubber needs any lubrication because it don't make friction, and rubber is very elastic material, so I don't think that lubrication is needed for the silicones or rubber. But you can try if you want to make a lubrication for the silicone. Put small amount at this area. But I don't see any advantage for doing this. Okay, so last night, I have done some research, and for silicone lubricant, there is 2 popular brands. Molykote from Dow Corning and Shin-Etsu. Dow Corning basically from, I think, from United States, and Shin-Etsu from Japan. These 2 company is the best manufacturer for silicone products. Okay, I want to talk about the Molykote first. As you can see, I usually use this Molykote. I prefer this over Shin-Etsu because it's very, let's say, what is called, slippery, very smooth, very slippery. I see that Shin-Etsu is like a more tacky, like not slippery. I love Molykote product, is very smooth and slippery, but this one is 55 O-ring grease is no good for silicone, because we can see at the datasheet you can download it from, and googling and download this dataset. This one. Not the viscosity, but like the for Shinetsu, there is a light, medium, viscosity, also Molykote. There is two viscosity, usually light and medium. But I don't know. I forget the words in English. But it's so very slippery, like that. But Shinetsu is also good. If not good, Sanwa won't use it for their lever. Okay, so for Molykote 55 O-ring that I usually use, I don't recommend this for you because, as you can see, recommended for O-rings and seals, but it's not this thing will make the O-ring a bit swelling. It is good for sealing because when you swell, it will, when the seals is swell, it will close the gap tighter and you will get a better sealing. But I see that the better one is Molykote 33. This one, I will recommend this one for you. There is two viscosity, light viscosity and medium. I think medium one is better because it's more like grease. It's more, I think it will stay longer. And it is good for plastic and I believe also for the silicone. It's safe. Although it is not recommended to metal sliding, but it says it can be used for metal to metal rollings. And in this actuator area, there is many rolling movement. So I think we can use this also for metal versus metal. For Molykote, I think this one is the perfect choice. And we go to Shinetsu. I do some research, and as we can see, this is a catalog, Sanwa catalog for the 2020 and 2021. So Sanwa also used the Shinetsu. I don't know if you can see it. Shinetsu G40M. M is medium viscosity, I think. So basically it's a G40 series. And the interesting is G40 is not specialized for plastic. You can see Lubrication, general purpose, G40 to G40. And the one for plastic actually is G51. And we see beepers. So you can see there is a metal roller or bearings. So the G40, I think, is also good for metal versus metal. So there is a three grades, light, medium, but I think medium is okay, good one. But it say like for plastic, this one is better because this one is specially designed for plastic. And it is safe for POM, acetal or delrin. And all this part is POM. Okay, I think this one is very good, but I never try it. I have tried to find in my local store, but I think there is no store selling this type. And we can see that compatibility with the plastic. This one. Netsu G40. This one. For POM, it's safe. That's good because all this part is POM. All these plastic parts. Also the handle also POM. So it's very good. 501 also very good for POM. And for elastomer, we don't care about this, we only care about this silicone. At 240 hours, testing at 70 and 120 Celsius degree, we can see that the G40 will make a swelling about 8 to 9%. It's relatively good, but I don't know, there is no data for G50. I don't know if G50 and G40 have the same basic material or they are different. I don't know. But I think looking at this value, I think it's also safe for silicone rubber. So maybe you want to put small amount in here. I think it's good and safe for the silicone. And when it is swelling, it's okay because there is a groove that will hold, not because let's say there is no effect even if the silicone swell a bit. But usually a silicone that swells, it will lower the tension because the hardness is also decreased. So I think I will recommend 2 lubricant. I think for silicone grease, if you go for Shin-Etsu, use 501 series. I think it's better than 40 series because it was specially designed for plastic. This one is general purpose and it is also excellent for steel to steel contact. It is very good. One lubricant for all, I think, but I never try it, so I cannot give you recommendation based for my experience. But from the dataset, from theory, it's good. If you go for the Corning Molykote, you use 33 series. This one is pretty easy to get. It's also good for metal to metal rolling application. Okay, but usually for me, for my personal preference, I use this for plastic, I use this for metal versus metal. But also use this for metal versus metal because I always open my lever at least once a week, so it doesn't matter. I love to maintenance lever. Let's see, how about the Senmitsu? I got a Senmitsu catalog also. Did they also use a Senmitsu 40? Wow, they have a metal ball top actually. This must be very heavy. Let's look at metal. I don't see any lubricant on this catalog. Sorry if you already said that, but how often do you recommend lubricating a lever? Wait, I will insert it. So Zenitsu also use Zenitsu also use Zenitsu with what series? Hard to read. Oh, I think they use a 501 series. This is good. I don't know if you can read it. This is a 501 series. I agree with Shimizu. 501 I think is better than 40 series. Yes, for how often? Usually at least once a month if you have a metal versus metal contact. But if you don't have a metal versus metal contact, I think it doesn't need any maintenance or lubrication. That is why I try to make the black bearing so it will maintenance free, because not only starters, most of the pro players also do not do maintenance for their lever. They just use it until it breaks. So I think this is bad, but I don't know if they do not know how to do maintenance or they don't have time, because when there is a tournament test series, the schedule is pretty tight, and I think they don't have enough time to do maintenance. So I think a metal versus metal component will last longer if lubrication is good. But if you don't care about lubrication and you don't want to do maintenance, go for plastic versus metal parts. Yes, Tubushi labbing, that's right. This is our labbing. There is no frames, but it's kind of fun also. Let me drink a little bit. Yes, Nes, I'm glad you have tested, and yes, I think it's very good. For the performance, I think it's the same as golden bearing, but it's free maintenance, which is a additional benefit using plastic parts. And I designed black bearing. We are already working on it. I think it will be ready about mid-May next month. I think about 1 month after this. Because it is plastic and the bearing itself, the outer diameter is 14 millimeters. We cannot do 14.5 actuator for black bearing because it's too thin. The plastic sleeve is too thin. So the smaller size will be 15 and it will go until 17. Because also the new bushing end ring will make the actuator to sit lower, because it want to hit the middle of the switch blade. And because it is lower, to compensate we need a slightly bigger actuator, because it's like this. When pivoting like this, okay, this area will have more radius than lower area. So that's why when we put the actuator lower, we have increased the diameter. It's just like this, the same as this. In the top of this, the radius is bigger than the area. It only move like this one move like this. It's the same principle and like this. The taller the actuator, you can use a slightly smaller actuator at the yes. So also I want to show you that every switch have a small bubbles on the blade. So when you see the blade is flat like this, because gravity attract it like this. Actually, when you playing it, the gravity will pull the blade because it wobble a bit, and the blade will be over the actuator, the edge of the actuator, so it will hitting the body of the switch, not the edge of the switch. Ah, yeah, sorry, I forgot to put. This one is better. I'm sorry, I will repeat it. Thank you for reminding me because I'm not used to streaming. You can see there is a small bubbles, and when we play, we put like this. It will drop due to gravity. And if wobble very much, if the wobble is huge, usually when actuating, first it will put the blade like this, then actuate. I think this is not good because there is a inconsistency. Because the first movement maybe is not hitting the switch like this perpendicular, but it's lower the switch first, then it hits. So there will be a less consistency. That is why I designed the new bushing and ring to hit at the middle of the switch, not the edge. So it doesn't matter if it's wobbling like this, it doesn't matter. Because we want to hit, you can see this pin, these small pins is actually this actuator for the switch. We want to hit like this. We don't want to hit the edge. Also, you can see friction. This is no good. But some players already used to it, and if it's work for them, that's okay. It's all about preference. And what is special? I will back to about the question in the chat, but I want to tell you what is special about the AM5 switch. This one is I will show you. Okay, this is my favorite Myungshin. The old Myungshin is. This is my first lab in Korean level, and it have a AM5 brass core. Okay. You also can see that. See? The edge of the switch is chipping the actuator. Just imagine you doing this 1,000 times, 10,000 times, it will be chip. Even metal versus metal, it will chip also. so what is special about the AM5? This is a AM5. Okay. The switch split is wider than normal. It's about 5 millimeters. And the normal switch is about 4.5, let's say 4.5. So when it sits like this, so it will put like this. It will hit the edge of the switch, of the blade switch, sooner than slimmer switch. You know what I mean? I'm not good explaining this, but let's see, because when it's taller, the radius is wider, and the edge of the switch on the AM5 is slightly taller. It doesn't matter if you hit the middle of the switch, it doesn't matter if it's taller or not. But if you hit the edge of the switch plate, it matters. Wider or taller switch will have a sooner actuation. It also can be done using a ring, putting a ring under the switch. So this is a washer or ring, washer ring, and thickness about 0.5 millimeters. And if we mount it between the base like this, we mount it, and we put the position of the switch taller. So it will perform like AM5, because if you put, you can see like this. If you put a ring, it will slide. Put like this, we put a ring, it will taller, and the actuator will hit sooner on the edge. You know what I mean? So actually that's why I don't to be crazy about AM5. What I think special about AM5 is the wider blade, but we can't achieve the same using a washer mod. We just need to put the actuator taller. Also, what's next? I want to mention, I forgot. Okay, let's go to the question. I will answer it one by one. From Brett, this question of topic: can you explain the microswitch force? I have seen actuator use code. Yes. We can see at the switch database. It's easy to understand. So every switch manufacturer have some codes for Omron. The last number is the actuation force. So we have 5 and 6. I believe I forgot the actuation force, but I will tweet about the datasheet. I have shared the datasheet about last year. I got from Omron distributor the datasheet. So the 6 is double the force of the 5. Brass core, yes, brass core. This one is brass core. we don't make it this anymore because in 2018, I think, at C major, I meet book and I put a brush core on the book, and after couple months, I test the lever. It's make friction very bad. You can feel like it's very bad. Then I decide to discontinue metal core. I think plastic is much better solution, and it is lighter. Okay, IM5, yes, IM5 is Panasonic IM5. Yes, it is discontinued, but I got this Myungshin is way back then in, I think, 2015, I think. It's very old Myungshin. That is my most favorite. Because of wider contact surface is more responsive. Yes, wider contact surface is because the generic Korean lever, they hit the switch on the blade on the edge of the switch. So when you put it taller, it will hit sooner. That's why the washer, a small washer, it can put the switch taller, so you can mimic the AM5. Because fabricated on blade. Yes, before I invented the I designed shorter bushing. Actually, I want to make the blade. I make the blade like a triangle. I want to make a curve in the middle of the edge, so to avoid hitting the edge of the switch. But it is very hard to do with my tools in workshop because I don't do a seat machining, and it is very tiny. It's hard to make it. So I have another solution that I make a shorter bushing. So when pivoting, it will hit the middle area. The middle or slightly upper, just not the edge. But sometimes because like this, I don't know if you realize it or not. Korean lever is like a 3D lever. So in Japanese lever, we only can pull it upward, not downwards. So it's more like when you use it, it's like a X and Y axis. But because the Korean lever have a silicone, see, it can up and down a little bit. And you can see also when I push it, now see, when you do a very hard movement like smashing, you like also push it downwards, and it slightly make taller, I'm sorry about the focus, make a taller actuation radius, make it more sensitive, you know. So Korean lever is very let's say the word is like flexible lever, and this one Sanwa is very precise lever because on the XY movement you can use XY and little bit Z movement, Z axis movement. Okay, but next, I think 6. benefit between FF style? Yes, this is a good question. What's the benefit between A5 and A6? So, in my opinion, there is two different playstyle: Japanese playstyle and Korean playstyle. So, Japanese is who invented the arcade. So, we start using Sanwa as standard as an example. In Sanwa, we use gate to limit and to guide the corner like this. Okay, so actually we can use, if we cannot feel the actuator of the switch, soft switch, that's okay, that's no problem, and it's more preferable because we use the gate as feedback. We know that we hit corner from the gate, not from the switch. So I think in my opinion, smoother switch for Japanese playstyle or Japanese lever is better because we can feel less about the switch and more about the gate. Okay, and now about the Korean lever. As you know, Korean lever this way you can see it. Okay, Korean lever has rounded, there is no edge. So when we want to do a diagonal, it is better if we can feel the switch, the click of the switch. So I think the more tactile of the switch is better for Korean playstyle, because if you see the last low high video about this movement, you can hear the sound of the lever. He barely hitting the collar, he just hitting the switch. When with dashing, back dashing, he's hitting the switch. So in Korean playstyle, they have a good memory, muscle memory in their hands to feel the switch, and more tactile switch is good for this. So that is why I put A5 on Japanese setup, because it have square gate, and I put A6 on standard Korean setup because we need to feel the click. Even a little bit click, your hand is like a sensor. If you train it enough, you can feel it. So that's why different switch for different setups. It is hard to make a two-piece detachable lever. I will show you. This is the prototype, QR prototype I made a couple months ago, but last year. So as you can see, we need the shaft size to limit the throw in Korean design. Okay, so shaft size is important. So we cannot do a link QR system for golden lever. So my idea is use a screw like a Sanwa, screw like this. So it will stay at the lever. It will stay on top of the core of the lever. And we choose our shaft diameter and we screw it. Then we tighten it. There is tighten it, and we have to hold this one to make it tighten. You know, but it's hard because we still need to open the case of the fight stick to enable to access and hold this area not spinning. So I put idea to make these two holes. I want to make a fork to go inside the lever hole to hold, not spinning, and tighten it. Okay. I have tested for at least 4 months playing. It's okay, there is no problem. But I'm worried if it's already released and you not tighten it enough, maybe you're tired or you're in a rush, you forget it, and you play it, it can lose and it can detach. This is very bad and risky. We don't want this happening. So I'm still hesitant whether to release it or not because of this problem. It's because it's a trade-off. It's quick release and it have a risk to be easy to lose. Yes, Cron quick release use the link system because they just adjusted the core to be the collar to be diameter bigger to compensate the thicker of the shaft, but there is only one size of the shaft and it's no good for lever tuning. You stick with the default unless we make collar with different size diameter, but I don't think it's a good idea. Have you tried AM5 on GL before? I don't think I tried because that is I want to achieve wider blade like this, like AM5. I just put a small washer between the switch and the base, so it will sit higher and will hit the edge of the switch sooner. And I love a tactile, but not too tactile because everything too much is not good. I see that it's about the same tension. This is absolutely a slightly harder tension than AM5, but I think my hand cannot differentiate it. But my favorite is still Omron A6 for Korean setup, and Omron is very reliable. It rarely we have an issue with misinput on Omron. I've tried buy a cheap switch in my local, and surprisingly we click like this, one or two in 10 times it did not register input. It is a big no for me. So we do it 10 times, sometimes it will miss input 1 or 2, the chip, because I think the contactor is not from good material. Okay, next question. Is possible to make silent version of Japanese Sanwa? Silent version, you want, I don't know if there is a silent version of the switch with the leaf or blade or hinges. If you can find a switch that's silent, you just put it. I think you have a silent lever, Korean lever. And this low collar is not, the sound is not too loud like a full collar. Like this, I will bring a full collar. Full collar sound, you know, because it is a full thick Delrin material, and Delrin is POM is very hard. You will sound, this one is not too thick, so it have a slightly flexible to dump the throw. If you can find a silent clicks switch, I think you can get a silent lever. My Westernization have screwing off the ball top. Yes, I see that one of my friends in Malaysia also, when streaming, he use a easy detachable Sanwa, and mid-match it loose and he just top up the ball top and the shaft. It's very funny and it's not good. Each switch have 2 screws, so would each switch require 2 washers? Yes, every screw put 1 washer. I think washer mode is good if you want to achieve more sensitive, and if you want like use a green arcade setup. I think because we cannot get the AM5 anymore, it's already discontinued, we can mimic it with switch of your choice, as long as it's not too thin, because I see that some switch even have a more thinner blade, like a 4mm or less. The standard is about 4.3 or 1.5. So maybe you can stack 2 ring to make it even taller, and it will make it more sensitive, and you can use a smaller actuator. Because in my opinion, 14.5mm in Mungsin base, if you want to mimic a green arcade, 14.5 in the switch spacing, you will need tall switch. There's no way you can mimic green arcade lever and use a slim blade. 14.5mm actuator, diagonal must be worse. Yes, the stream is already out of topic, but it's okay. I have time, you have time, you can ask me anything. I'm glad I can help. Yes, when A5 return to neutral is better, yes, because that's the good about the tactile switch. It helps the lever back to neutral quickly. So it helps the silicone to make faster neutral. That's why I like it. But I see like this. Deco switch is very hard. I think it's the most hard switch that I ever find. It's super tactile. Maybe if you have a very big hand and hard to get input from the switch click, maybe you can try Deco. Deco is very clicky, very hard, so you will feel the click. But I don't know about the performance because I never used a Deco before. Because I personally like a Japanese brand better. It's because it's reliable for me. Like I said, I have buy a cheap switch. it clicked 10 times, it did not register 10 times. So there is misinput, and misinput is like a nightmare, because when you playing, there is misinput, you cannot detect it, but you know that your move is not executed well. Then you go to training mode or you go to control panel, test the switch. Oh, nothing is wrong. All the input is good. When you play again, maybe there is more misinput. It makes you confused, and you go to training again, test it 10 times to 20 times. Input is good. That's so to choose the switch first. It must be reliable, because input is the most important thing in lever, because lever is just a switch actually. This is the most important things. Have to be reliable first, then second, comfortable for you. Okay, what I want to talk about next. You can ask me if you want to. Have you ever thought about doing some experiment with keyboard switch? Yes, in Versus project I will go crazy with switch. And right now my most favorite button is Crown 202, because it have a cherry switch, and I can change the switch for my liking, like a blue tactile switch, like blue cherry. I like it. I can use it. But for lever, I don't think it is a good idea for. I don't say it is not good, but I just think that switch with leaf is more have advantage, because we can adjust, like in the golden base, we can adjust the spacing. But if we use cherry switch, which only have one actuator, like a Sanwa, one actuator, the only way to achieve it is only to make the actuator bigger or smaller. This way we can adjust every switch on the golden base, because it's possible because the blade of the switch. As cherry silver switch. Whoa. What lever you? It is but had to tilt the spacing. Yes, sometimes you have to play around with the spacing. Spacing is very important in sensitivity of the lever, and many advanced player like a NES use a custom switch spacing. So it's sometimes I will show you a trick how to do a custom. Let's say this one is I know this one, right? I got it from my friend in Spain, Jose. It have a silver cherry inside. Jose is my old friend. I think it's very innovative. So it's basically is it a Japanese lever with cherry switch? Because the construction is like a Japanese lever. You have a fixed pivot, Optical. Last time I used optical is pretty long. I think the era of the good light control is from Marcus. Good light control era, I think, is Shoryuken era in 2011 or 2012. I try optical switch, but I don't like it because it's not reliable, and sometimes I'm an old school player. I need the feedback of the switch. I need to feel the feedback. But if you can adapt to optical switch, the good thing is no need there, because there is no switch, so you don't need to maintain the switch. So I don't think that's why lately we don't have many optical switch. I think because not many players like optical switch. So it's like a natural selection. If many people like it, the product will be evolved. If no many people like it, so the product will be stuck. Maybe like that. So I think, in my opinion, my personal opinion, I think it's better to save your money. But I never tried the magenta. I never tried it. I think it's not optical. It's like a magnet sensor. You have magnet sensor. Feel free if you want to ask me anything. I think I have free time until like 30 minutes again. Then I have some dinner. So you can see that AM5 also a bit of wiggling. So maybe because the gravity pull it down and you actuate, it will pull upwards and click. So the more wobble of the switch plate, it have risk to be inconsistency to the actuator. Ah yes, custom spacing. I forgot the custom spacing. Okay, let's say we want to make any mounting like this. I want to make the up direction more sensitive, because when we input up, usually we only use thumb and it's very weak compared to other inputs. So I want to be sensitive. So first, we find which switch is responsible for the input. So if we put up, turn us which switch responsible for the input. Okay, so we want to make it, the other is 16 spacing and this one is 15.5, let's say. So first we do a 16 spacing first, the bigger spacing first. Make sure all can move. You just need to turn 1 or 2 turn, not too much, because the nuts will drop and you have to open the lever to put the nuts again. Just I think 360 revolve counterclockwise is enough. First we use the 16. Okay, push to the center, push all to the center. So put like this, push it, tighten it. You don't have to tighten it enough, because as long as the force of this tightening screw is greater than the force of this, it's safe. Because the only way it can slide is from this force. See, from the actuating force. Okay, all is set to 16mm spacing. Okay, we want to make this closer because it's up direction. This one closer. Then we put the 15.5 spacing, and we lose this one because we want to slide it closer to the center. Just push it, tighten it, and now you have a custom spacing. But this is, so the up is more sensitive like right now. Now if you want to do a super custom, actually this one already 15.5, 16. So this one is 16. If you want to make a super custom, you can use this trick. I see this trick from the Aztec. It is a Japanese player. He put tape around it. You should find a big, wider tape so it cover all area. I just want to show you how. Until you find like what you want, 16.2 or 16. If you don't have this, that's okay, but it will a lot of try and error. Not error, I think. Try and find the best for you. Like this, now you have a custom spacing, and because the hole is covered with some just like that, and you set up it using this one custom spacing you want. The possibility is, then if you already find the most comfortable setup, comfortable spacing for you, keep your spacer. This is your custom spacer that's perfect for you. It's made look ugly, but it's the best for you. So the trick is just using tape. I will switch back to default spacing 15.5. Let me know if you have more questions. I will explain it. If you hard to make it slide, just push it and wiggling like this until it's easy to slide. So the new BlackBerry, because this is a classic material, we can do a new design. It's now BlackBerries, doesn't matter if you put like this or flip it, because both have the same profile. It's okay to put it, so it's easier for starters. For golden bearing, you always want to put the sharp, this one, the sharp edge facing to the bushing. So rounded edge on top of the lever. If you have more questions, feel free to ask me. What is special about the Korean lever? We got a 3 axis, X, Y, and Z axis. It's very flexible lever, and it's very on point lever. So I think there is also one trick to make like a Mega Deus said. There is one trick to make tilting the switch. So maybe if you just put a one washer in this screw, so it will sit higher, it will tilt the switch, because we put a washer in this. It may be like do a small tilting like this. I don't know if it can help, but be creative, try a lot of things. Maybe you can find new things that perfect for you. Just try anything. Okay, I think if there is no more question, I want to end this stream. Let me know if you still have a question. Thank you for watching, and I think it's kind of fun, and I think I will do stream again, like about what I think next, about lever control, I think, but random question like a tutorial like that, it's okay. You can ask me anything. Okay guys, I think thank you for watching, and see you again.